agenda point, the official agenda point, is the closing of Parliament of the parliamentary year 2024-2025 by the President of Parliament. Going over to that agenda point, the closing of the present parliamentary year is required in order for Parliament to open the new parliamentary year 2025-2026, which will happen tomorrow, God spare life, Tuesday, September the 9th, 2025. And this is prescribed by Article 46 of our Constitution. However, with the closure of this parliamentary year, it is an opportune time for us all to reflect on what this parliamentary year has meant for us, as well as what your outlooks are for the new parliamentary year. So it is with this in mind that I will give all faction leaders the opportunity to direct themselves to Parliament and to the people of St. Martin. You have a maximum of 10 minutes, members of Parliament, represented by your faction leaders, for you to reflect on the parliamentary year that we are closing today. The sequence in which the faction leaders will speak has been predetermined in the faction leaders meeting of August the 26th of this year. So, with that sequence in mind, it is my pleasure to give the floor to the first speaker, MP Egbert Duran of the National Alliance faction.
As this parliamentary year comes to a close, the National Alliance reflects on a year of hard work, challenges, and opportunities in the chamber of diverse voices and conviction. Our faction has stayed committed to its mission to advocate for the people, hold government accountable, and present solutions that we believe can move our country forward. We remained active on many fronts, for example, in close collaboration with the Ministry of VSR as we advance reforms in the food safety through ordinance and policy amendments that are currently being worked on, ensuring stronger standards for our people and visitors. We defended the rights of the displaced vendors, tabled motions to safeguard Mullet Bay, and pushed consistency in terms of relief for GB, as we recognize relief is needed for our people. Our focus extends to education and youth. We've pressed for overdue teacher promotions, supported initiatives such as Adopt a Classroom and mentorship programs, highlight the dangers of youth addiction, and worked on equitable access for schools for late-born children. We brought attention to women's health issues, insisting that they are addressed with urgency and care. On labor, we stressed for fair policies to protect not only the wages, but also the well-being of workers, because economic growth must not come at the expense of people's health. On the economy, our faction has proudly brought forward an initiative law that proposes a tiered profit tax and incentive for the workforce investments. We also brought amendments to modernize the banking system, address frustrations, and support the local online payments. We've raised questions about the concession write-off and revenue streams as well. We have also advanced measures that touch families personally. The increase in funeral assistance was brought through a motion that is directly easing the burden of families that require assistance through the Ministry of VSR, as well as civil servants. Environmental sustainability has also had our attention. We pressed for pond protection, questioned funding for agriculture, and championed the decentralization of tourism to spread benefits across all communities. We've called attention to grievances within essential services like the fire and ambulance, urged urgency in terms of hurricane preparedness, and demanded stronger action on crime and gun violence. Looking ahead, Madam Chair, our faction will continue to fight for tax relief, youth development, labor reform, GB relief. We will keep working to eliminate the yellow tape around succession land and empowering families by making homeownership more accessible.
Now give the floor to the next faction leader up to speak and give his remarks on this closing day of Parliament, the MP of the PFP, MP Rayon Peterson. MP Peterson, you have the floor.
Madam Chair, we've reached the end of another parliamentary year and approached the start of a new one. As we close this parliamentary year, I want to speak not just about what has been debated here on this floor of Parliament, but about the larger question of accountability, honesty, and the direction in which we are headed as a country. A moment of self-reflection, if you may. Through you, Honorable Chair Lady, something that my faction colleague, MP De Wever, proposed to us on this very floor. Too often, this House has been filled with noise rather than substance, with posturing rather than principle. And while that may satisfy the headlines in social media, it does nothing for the people who have sent us here to serve. Rhetoric and emotional hijacking have become the order of the day, and the people's concerns have become a playbook for political propaganda. Let me be frank, Madam Chair, and then I look to some of my colleagues. Time and time again, we present ourselves as champions of accountability. We call for transparency, we cry for justice, and we shout about corruption. But yet, when the mirror is turned towards our own conduct over the last couple of years, that same energy disappears. We demand responsibility from others, but refuse to take it for ourselves, as if it will just fade away as time passes by. But that is not leadership, Madam Chair. That is hypocrisy and, foremost, a lack of actual accountability. When I listen to those who speak up, and I read the reactions on social media, Madam Chair, I can say that the people are beginning to notice. They see through the empty motions, the selective outrage, and exaggerations designed to distract the people from our own shortcomings. You cannot lie your way into integrity, and you cannot deceive your way into accountability. I will say it plainly, leadership requires honesty. Honesty not only when the truth is uncomfortable, but also when it exposes our own flaws, even at times where it might even cost us politically. If you cannot face that, then you might be unfit to lead. But Madam Chair, Lady, through you, I will not only place the blame on this honorable floor of Parliament. We must also turn to our people, the people of St. Martin, because leadership is a reflection of society. And here is the truth. No matter how much some may wish it otherwise, citizens themselves also bear a great responsibility. A responsibility to question those who you have chosen to represent you, to think critically when they speak, and to stop rewarding misrepresentation with your trust. Too many are quick to believe that the loudest voice in the room, instead of the most honest one, is the one that's right. Too many prefer comforting lies over uncomfortable truths.
And I hereby give the floor to MP La Cruz, speaking on behalf of the United People's Party. MP La Cruz, you have the floor.
As we draw to a close this parliamentary year, I stand before you with both humility and resolve. This past year has tested our dedication, resilience, and political maturity. Yet it has also offered us numerous opportunities to advocate for the people we serve. During the year, we raised the critical concerns about the mold infestation in the government administration building, which posed serious respiratory health risk to civil servants. I formally requested updates on remediation efforts, health assessments, and long-term provision strategies, even proposing temporary relocation and medical support for affected employees. When these inquiries were met with silence, the United People's Party denounced this lack of accountability, urging the Prime Minister and the government to act prompt for the safety of our public servants. In response to the CMA-CGM rerouting its operations due to Port St. Martin's inability to handle LNG-powered vessels, we reiterated the urgent need for transition in St. Martin towards liquefied natural gas. To retain competitiveness, our job creation, and support sustainable growth. Amid external pressures and social media campaigns aimed at undermining our position, we reaffirmed commitment to our constituents During the budget debate, we made it clear that no form of intimidation will deter us. If necessary, we would table a motion of no confidence to uphold the interests of the people.
Member of Parliament representing the Unified Resilient St. Martin Movement faction, and that is MP Veronica Janssen-Webster. MP Janssen-Webster, you have the floor.
Today, as we open a new parliamentary year, I stand here not only as the leader of the URSM faction, but also as a daughter of this soil, entrusted with the hopes, struggles, and resilience of our people. We gather at a crucial moment, one that demands bold leadership, honest reflection, and unwavering commitment to the future of our beloved nation. The past parliamentary year has tested our country, from financial challenges to the ongoing struggles in energy, justice, and social stability. The people of St. Martin have looked to this parliament for answers. And I am proud to say that the URSM faction has not been silent. MP Shamira Roseberg has been a strong voice for justice, equality, and the working people of St. Martin. She has raised critical questions on law enforcement, prison reform, and workers' rights. She stood up for the dignity of our students by co-sponsoring a motion against hair discrimination in schools, ensuring that no child is judged or excluded for their natural identity. She promotes literacy. Beyond this, MP Roseberg has advanced key legislative amendments. An amendment to the Admission and Expulsion Ordinance LTU to ensure equality for St. Martiners born to foreign parents. A proposal for judicial reform, introducing a 3-judge panel system at first instance to create stronger checks and balances and align St. Martin with the Netherlands' judicial standards. She has filed important motions to recruit more legislative lawyers, expand legal access for vulnerable mental health patients, launched a national breakfast program, and address prison overcrowding. She's also working on legislation to reform prison laws and combat cyberbullying, while pioneering free community legal advice through a monthly legal help desk.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, Com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
Kotai to take the floor on behalf of the faction of the Democratic Party. MP Kotai, you have the floor.
Madam Chair, I remember last year's parliamentary's closing. Many words were spoken, and some still resonate today, while others, perhaps conveniently, have faded from memory. But what remains clear is that the past year has not only been marked by challenges, it has also been defined by the lingering consequences of neglect. Yes, we have faced persistent and pressing issues. The long-standing grievances of our fire and ambulance department personnel, the insurance and placement degree issues for our justice workers, the ongoing situation at the dump, and the increasingly critical conditions at the Point Blanche prison. We have witnessed instability in our utility company, GB. Telem continues to suffer from many years of underinvestment. Crime and justice remain central concerns, as I just mentioned. And let us not forget, these issues did not start yesterday. Many are grandfathered problems, inherited, yes, but worsened by years of poor policy, politicization, and paralysis. While there's much to say and motions brought to the floor of Parliament, let us not pretend otherwise. The majority of today's members sat in the driver's seat not too long ago. Some members speak of problems as if none of it was in their control, as if problems only began 10 months ago. That's selective amnesia, Madam Chair. The Mercelina Cabinets 1 and 2 has been in office for only 16 months, 6 under caretaker status. Yet, those who had a full term now expect us to clean up the mess within 10 months. The system was broken through coalition games. Then we heard loud complaints stating that the problems are not fixed. You cannot be both an arsonist and then the fire inspector. Governance is not theater, it's about results. In spite of these distractions, there have been moments of true cooperations in this chamber. At times, we saw party lines blurred where good ideas found support across the aisle. These moments reminded us that Parliament can rise above petty politics and work for the people.
I continue to give the possibility to the faction leaders of the factions here in Parliament to give their remarks regarding the year which we are closing today. That's the year 24-25 of the Parliament, and thus I invite MP Lewis of the Nation Opportunity Wealth faction to take the floor. MP Lewis, you have the floor.
As I stand before you today, as the faction leader of the Nation Opportunity Wealth political party, at the closing of this parliamentary year, I cannot help but reflect on the journey that has brought me here today. As a first-time elected official, this experience has been nothing short of unique and humbling. Shortly after learning that I had been elected by the people of this beautiful country, I was entrusted with the responsibility of not only serving as the Minister of Justice, but also as the Acting Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, as part of the Mercelina I Council of Ministers Cabinet. In other words, I carried out 2 hats and was soon asked to bear a third. This journey became even more unique when I learned that I would no longer be part of the coalition, but instead would serve from the opposition benches as a member of Parliament. Of course, it was a surprise, but it was never a challenge. From the very beginning, I understood that the true purpose is to serve my people. And I will repeat, my people, regardless of which side of the aisle I sit on. My time as minister, though brief, is one that I will always carry with pride. I was entrusted with important portfolios, and despite the challenges, I can say with confidence that my tenure was both meaningful and impactful. On August 20, 2024, I was officially sworn in as a Member of Parliament while still serving as the Minister of Justice and Acting Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport until November 26, 2024. I carried out all 3 roles. During that period, I not only fulfilled my ministerial duties with dedication, but also represented the people of St. Martin in this very chamber. That period was a true test of resilience and responsibility. It reminded me that leadership is not about comfort or convenience. It is about sacrifice, service, and staying true to the people who place their trust in us. When that chapter closed, my resolve became even stronger. I committed myself to continue working just as hard, if not harder, in my role as Member of Parliament. As we now prepare to enter a new parliamentary year, I bring with me the lessons, knowledge, and perspectives that those early months have provided. My approach will be broader.
I continue to offer that opportunity to the faction leaders or those representing the factions here in Parliament, and I now give the floor to MP Franklin Myers.
Today I stand here before you as a representative on this floor of Parliament. 1 year ago, the 15 members of this Parliament were sworn in. A year that has been filled with challenges, but I prefer to focus on a way forward. No government has ever governed without having to deal with their share of difficulties, and we are no exception. We will never be judged on how well we handle the calm times, but how well we face the storms of life. Dr. King once said, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in times of comfort and convenience, but where he stands, or in this case, where this country stands in times of challenges and controversy. Our island has faced many problems, from hurricanes to the pandemic, to our energy crisis, to our ambulance and fire department staff and their salary issues, to the justice workers and their LBAs, to the crime on our lovely St. Martin, just to name a few. And we have faced all of these with a sense of urgency, resilience, and courage. And we will continue to do what is right by all the citizens of St. Martin. The Sualiga Action Movement, the SAM, the faction, my faction stands committed to doing all in our power to ensure that these issues are not only addressed, but resolved, Madam Chair. Without risk, there is no success. Every successful story that we've heard began with a person or persons willing to take risks. It seems to be a law of nature, inflexible, ineradicable, that those who do not risk do not win. Paul Jones. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Nothing grows in our comfort zone. Now, know that when you are growing, it becomes very uncomfortable. Sometimes it feels for every step forward you take 2 steps backward. But I'm here to tell you today, St. Martin and its people will be fine. I firmly believe that God chooses his strongest soldiers for his toughest battles. We can't become what we need to be by remaining who we are, in the words of Oprah Winfrey. In our hardest and most difficult days lay our greatest treasures. Whatever it is we hope to achieve as a government and a parliament, we must do it together. We must be firmly committed in the belief that the best days of St. Martin is ahead of us and not behind us. And we must work tirelessly to achieve this vision.
Members of Parliament, as we close this parliamentary year, allow me to give you a brief reflection on our theme that we're closing off at this time as well, namely the theme of the parliamentary year 24-25. This theme, as you would recall, was the following: uncovering and supporting agriculture and sustainable agricultural practices. We had chosen as the theme. Has Parliament done anything about this theme? Oh, yes, we have. And particularly through the Central Committee and the Committee for Agriculture, Fisheries, and Animal Husbandry, we have been actively engaged with that theme. During the opening ceremony of the parliamentary year 24-25, we recognized local farmers for their contribution and collaborated on an agriculture-themed video to raise awareness and showcase sustainable farming practices. We also had a central committee meeting to receive an update from the Minister of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Transport, and Telecommunication regarding agriculture on St. Martin, during which meeting we were presented with food security for St. Martin, our current state of agriculture, the fact-finding mission of the ministry, and the vision of the Ministry of Agriculture on St. Martin, as also presented in the Policy on Agriculture, Livestock, and Fisheries, which was published in December of 2022. On January of this year, again, we convened a central committee meeting, this time with the St. Martin Farmers Cooperative, to discuss the current state of agriculture, the challenges faced by local farmers, and potential areas for legislative support. Among other points, the farmers outlined persistent issues, including limited access to land, water scarcity, inadequate infrastructure, and insufficient government support. And they emphasized the need for policy reforms and investments in designated agricultural zones. We also convened a meeting of the Committee of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Animal Husbandry on April the 1st, 2025, and received a presentation by Mr. Engel on the Sualiga Feed Us floating farm concept. This is documented in IS 251 and IS 799 of the current parliamentary year.
Thanks to the unique outreach approach, which centers around the slogan, Man Up and Check Up, the campaign continues to reach broad audiences locally and regionally. A strong advocate for the cause, Michael Ferrier of Napa Auto Parts, a prostate cancer survivor himself, has been a key supporter of the initiative. His open and creative approach to interacting with the community has inspired many men to get screened and to take control of their health. Men over 40 who've missed the opportunity to attend this screening, another event will be held on Saturday, September 13th. The foundations are urging all men to take advantage of this second chance and spread the word. ID cards are required, and for those who are uninsured, the Positive and Electrolytes Foundation, along with SLS, will cover the cost of the PSA test. The next screening is on Saturday, September 13th, from 8 a.m. to 12 noon at Napa locations in Phillipsburg and in Colby. Additionally, the Let's Talk About Sex 3-panel discussion on September 26th is scheduled to be held at the Lions Civic Center in Sucker Garden starting at 6 p.m. And the annual Men's Health Day will be held at the St. Martin Medical Center on September 27th starting at 9 a.m. This event will review the PSA test results from the screenings of September 6th and September 13th, and SMMC will offer various other health screenings and informative sessions. Men are encouraged to attend and take the necessary step towards a healthier future. We are committed to improving men's health in our community, said the foundation's presidents. Early detection of prostate cancer can save lives, and we encourage all eligible men to participate in these screenings. For more information, contact Shelley Alfonso at 721-580-9658 or contact Mercedes van der Waals Wyatt at 523-7418.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, comm programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
Hello, my name is Judith Stratman. I'm coming from Curaçao. I'm working for the company GIS4C. We are a distributor for the ArcGIS software. So the ArcGIS software is a mapping software. So all kind of location data can be mapped within the software, and we are having a 2 days training at the moment. So it's an introduction of the GIS software. We are giving the training to VROMI, but also external stakeholders are participating. So, for example, the postal services, the fire department, the ambulance department. And yeah, during the course of the project, we will be offering more trainings as well. So the staff will be prepared to work with the software themselves.
My name is Femi Badajo, Acting Head of ICT for the Government of St. Martin, as well as the project lead for the Digital Government Transformation Project. We have started a journey in introducing an address registry system. For years, St. Martin has operated without a centralized point for address information. Even though we have established where official addresses is produced from and so forth, it has been a challenge where there hasn't been a single source of truth of address information. So there's been inefficiencies in processes because of this lack of centralized point. So the eVROMI project looks to address that from a complete strategic perspective, where as part of our broader digital strategy that was approved in 2022, we have decided to focus on identifying these single source of truths across government and other agencies, and being able to create this sort of central point where other institutions can connect to this. So the eVROMI project falls under the broader Digital Government Transformation Program, which is a collaborative effort, of course, with the NRPB, the World Bank, and the Government of St. Martin. Falls under the Trust Fund as well. And it is a program that is directly under the Ministry of General Affairs, as of course ICT plays a major role in the implementation of systems within the organization. And the Public Service Center that also falls under the Ministry of General Affairs is the sort of the one-stop shop for citizens and the public to access services for government. Of course, as we went through the project and identifying where the single source of truth would be for different subsets of information or domains of information, we identified VOMI as, of course, a key stakeholder as far as address information is concerned. And so it's been a collaborative effort between the Ministry of General Affairs and the Ministry of VOMI to establish this address registry system or address single source of truth for addresses on a systematic level that can be used across other organizations and institutions, both internally and externally. We expect the project to actually be completed, fully implemented by Q1 of 2026. But the real benefits will start to come to realization when we start to connect all these other systems together in the coming 1 to 2 years. So it is going to be a progress, it is a transformation. It's not something that's going to be done in 1 day or 2 days or so. But as we start to step by step implement all these different solutions together and connect them properly and effectively together, then the public will start to see the benefits. They'll start to have accurate address information. Other key stakeholders like the post office, private institutions and so forth would be able to access this accurate address information that would then be able to improve their own processes and increase their efficiencies across their services that they deliver. So it will eventually start to branch out and enhance the service delivery across the island in its totality.